Take a look at the five. And what is up? Matt Steinmetz with Evan Giddings. It's a fabulous Friday. The sun's out. Holidays coming. Niners winning. Jordan Poole in town. We got action in the Bay. We got action, Evan. Evan in for Guru. Guru will be back next week. What more do you need to know? What more do you need to have other than the two of us? With Sam Lubman on the periphery today. But always welcome to jump into the fray.
My first question.
Yeah.
Who are you and what did you do with Matt Steinmetz? I mean, this is a brand new Steiny. It's almost like you're in 2024. You better be careful because you know you're having a hell of a year.
This is my last show of the year.
You don't want it to turn around too fast.
This is the last time on 95.7 I'm going to be officially right in 2023. I was telling some people on the YouTube chat earlier that I have a little announcement, but it's not an announcement like it's official, although when I say it usually is. It's more like a proclamation.
You been in the chat?
Oh, yeah.
Without telling us?
Yeah, I always go into the YouTube chat and say, hey, what's up before the show. Yeah, that's what I do.
Brand new man.
So, as people know, we've changed offices the last couple months. So we had an office on one side of the city. Now it's on the other side of the city. Still parked once in a while on the other side, taking bar. Your boy Steiny he's been active in San Francisco for the last couple months. Let's just put it that way.
Boy.
Let's just put it that way. And let me tell you something. I'm here to tell you something. San Francisco's coming back. I don't know how low people thought it was. I don't know these goofy, exaggerated stories about its demise. But I'm here to tell you, city's coming back. There is action. There are people. Stopped by an establishment yesterday, or maybe it was the day before.
Both.
Saw my guy Andy. Andy said, Andy, I got to tell you, man, this place, like, he said, you know what? It's been a great December. Great December. He said, we'll see what happens in the new year. I said, hey, let me tell you something. It's official. It's back. City's coming back, and in 2024, it'll officially be back. I'm telling you. I can feel the bustle. I've always had a sixth sense. I've always had my finger on the pulse. And I'm telling you, 2024 could be the year of San Francisco.
Well, this is where I'm at with the city because, you read about the statistics, like in sports. Okay, you got your box scores, you got your numbers, your team stats, your analytics, and whatever. And I don't know. What's the eye test? What's the eye test tell you? And right now, the eye test is telling me that the city of San Francisco is on the up because people are cheerful, people are out, they are about, and they're just in a good mood. Like, I don't know if it's always when the winter turns and the weather turns and it kind of gets a little more dreary than usual and you see people as seasonal depression, the sun's going down sooner, stuff like that. I think we're coming out of it sooner, like immediately. I mean, the amount of people that were at the cafeteria yesterday.
Sure.
Around 3, 4 o'clock, these are people that are wearing their Sunday best. They got their ugly Christmas sweaters. They got the bells, the whistles. They got lights. I mean, Steiny, I'm with you. Right now, the city of San Francisco is passing the eye test.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I'm telling you, there's more people coming back. There's action. Streets are looking good. So that's where I'm coming from today. The city's coming back. I'll just be honest with you. Boy, I'm 50 years old. I got all 3 daughters in town. I got Christmas. Going to take some time off next week. 49ers going to the Super Bowl. We got it all. Happy holidays, everybody.
Well, yeah. So, this is our last day, our last show of the year, because you're going to be out next week. Guru's going to be back in.
Yay!
I actually do miss Guru a lot. I've missed him this whole week.
I talked to him.
Oh, yeah?
I've been talking to him, yeah. He's doing great.
Oh, that's good. I know little D's. Oh, see, Steiny, and this is where you're getting a little bit too loose, because right behind you, you just pulled the flag down. There you go.
Go ahead, keep talking.
So I was.
I am the system of this show.
It really is. So I was thinking. Actually, I did text Goo yesterday, and was just get an idea, kind of like what is he feeling? Like he's had the week off. Next week I'm going down to San Diego. My only goal is to swim every single day. That's really all I got in my mind. And I'm just kind of curious what Goo's been thinking over this time. Well, he's had some time to rest. He's had some time to recharge. And it does feel like there's a lot going on right now in Bay Area sports. The city's on the rise. And I really can't wait to see what happens in 2024 because there's really action everywhere. Like there's excitement bustling with the 49ers and what their season can be. The Golden State Warriors, though they're a game below 500, chance to pull there tonight, they're always interesting. And the Giants are where they're at. And I don't think that they've affected people too much as far as the holiday cheer. So I'm kind of curious what people are feeling.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking that too. I was taking the long view. So I've been out here for 35 years. When I got out here at 90, Niners. All Niners all the time. They were the king. There's just no doubt about it. We got into the 2000s, started to lean toward the Giants, especially after the stadium was built. Then they win 3 titles. And the Giants were a phenomenon here in 10, 12, and 14. And then the Warriors. So I think it's always, all things being equal, I always think that the Bay's a Niners town. But that's also because football's the big boy of all the 3 sports. Here's the one thing that I was thinking about. What's your passion level for each team? Let's say you had to split it into 3. Let's say you're a Giants fan and you're a Warrior fan and you're a Niner fan. Not just because you're winning, but like, how enthusiastic are you for each of these teams right now? I mean, for the 49ers, obviously, sky high. For the Warriors, they brought us some unbelievable times. But the Giants, what could the Giants even do at this point? Of course, they lose Yoshinobu Yamamoto to the Dodgers. I mean, I didn't really want to get into that, but since we're talking about, the state of the teams and stuff, I mean, Giants are in a little trouble.
They're in a position where they got to earn our attention. And whether that's for a free agent move, a trade, I think it really just comes down to winning games. And especially the way that the last season ended, they're in some trouble. They got to dig themselves out of this hole. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be a team that I want to watch this year or don't want to watch. Like I'll be tuned in. But the Niners and the Warriors are so far ahead at this point, not just because of their success and how good the Niners have been and how good the Warriors have been recently, but just the amount of entertainment value surrounding them. I mean, I know baseball is not as popular as it used to be, but when you think about the 49ers, you think about, you could think about 5 or 6 different guys as far as who's going to represent what you want to see on television. Stephen Curry's the greatest entertainer, I think, in sports right now. And he's going to put on probably another show tonight and tomorrow against the Wizards and the Trailblazers. Like, that's, I think, where I'm at is I just feel like every single day, especially like we were talking about, okay, you got the family in town. You got Christmas coming up. Just think about what we got going on sports-wise this weekend.
Exactly.
You got the Warriors tonight. Jordan Poole comes back home. You got the Trailblazers and a chance ideally to go above 500 for the first time since early in the year. And then you got the Niners on Christmas Day playing the game that everyone has tabbed as a Super Bowl preview. So right now, I mean, as much as I want to do these next 4 hours with you, Steiny, I'm almost looking more forward to the games.
Well, you should. You should. Super Chat on YouTube. Too Much Sauce has paid $2 to have this chat read. And anytime you want to do the Super Chat, you can on YouTube.
Okay.
But this is probably more suited to you. Too Much Sauce paid $2 to say, is San Diego also on the come up in 2024? I'll let Evan speak to that. He knows more about San Diego than I do.
I don't think San Diego really fell off that much because it's kind of like one of the reasons why I love San Diego is it's so consistent. Like it's just I don't know. People don't move too fast.
The Spurs?
Well, not this year. By the way, you see the Pistons?
They win?
No. 25 in a row.
Well, that's it?
They're
What's the record? 27?
26.
26, okay.
So, no, the San Diego's not the Detroit Pistons. They're not the San Antonio Spurs. They would be probably right now like, the Boston Celtics. Consistently winning 45, 50 games. Haven't won a championship yet. Might leave you a little bit underwhelmed, but you might also have a lot of fun going out there.
Yeah, I could see that. By the way, at 10:30, I got a question. I've got a question for 49er fans at 10:30. I don't usually tease questions, but I'm going to tease this one. Apparently, I asked a question this morning. The boss, of course, is lingering like he always lingers. You know what I mean? We got a boss that he's like, he's a sidler. Before you know it, he sidled up next to you and you didn't even really know he was around. Anyway, he was doing that again today, and I said, I got a question about the Niners. If you were a Niner fan, would you take this? And he said, that's a great question. Who came up with it? Because I know you didn't. And I said, no.
You did.
No, Matt, I did. And it came from some research. And he goes, that's a great question. Then we go to the great Joe Hawks, KCBS. He hears the question and he goes, you'd have to be an idiot to say no to that. And I said, Joe, I'll bet you most people would say no to that. So we'll talk about that at 10:30. I want to.
That's a tease.
I want to give that a little room to breathe because I know how I would answer it. I want to know how 49er fans would answer it.
I'm kind of with Joe Hawks.
I am too. But I think there's going to be a lot of people. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It has to do with, obviously, the 49ers. They play the Ravens on Monday Night Football, Christmas night, and just think a lot about Purdy and Lamar Jackson and what's at stake. And I think it's pretty simple. If one of those guys has a big game and a win, they're going to be the MVP favorite. It'll be their MVP to lose the last 3 games of the week or 2 weeks of the year. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. MVP. Purdy's going to get it or Lamar Jackson's going to get it. We were talking about the MVP yesterday. It's like how if I'm an MVP voter in Chicago, how do you pick between McCaffrey and Purdy if those are the guys you're going with? See, to me, the reason that, Purdy can win it if he's lights out from here on in, but I do think it's fair if a voter says, man, the 49ers have 2 guys, and so I'm not going to vote for either. To me, it's exactly what happened every year that Durant was a Warrior. How do you distinguish between Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, who the MVP is? It's too hard. Is it 60% Durant and 40 Curry? Is it 60 Curry, 40 Durant? And so what you end up doing, and what I would do is, you know what? I'm going to vote for neither of those guys, and I'll go in a different direction. That's what I kind of see happening, unless Purdy is just lights out the rest of the year, and then I think he'll end up getting it.
Well, now you got me kind of thinking, because one of the other conversations we had about Durant and Curry, the MVP was kind of off the table. I know it's going to be the case for the 49ers this year, but I think the bigger discussion was about whose team it was. And it's been proven that it has always been and will always be Stephen Curry's team. Whether you thought that Kevin Durant was, the best player, he's the Finals MVP, it's Curry's team. The Warriors are Stephen Curry. I wonder how people feel about the 49ers and whose team it is, because Kyle Shanahan has been around for a long time, and I don't really know if a team can be represented by their head coach. And logic would tell you that, well, it's the quarterback. He's the driving force. But we're talking about the MVP because of how impactful Christian McCaffrey is. And I think I've said this to you before. To me, McCaffrey's just the fire starter. Like, he's the match that you strike to the kindling, and then Brock Purdy, he pours gasoline all over it. But I don't know which one people feel like is the driving force, is the representative for the 49ers. Because Christian McCaffrey got here just a little bit before Brock Purdy did.
Right.
But together they've been unstoppable. And that is where I think they have the relation to Curry and Durant, which is it just doesn't seem plausible that there's someone that's going to be able to take these two out and try and, essentially force them into a bad game.
Yeah. No, I hear you. 888-957-9570 is the number. It's It's a Friday, and it's a holiday Friday. And if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know that things can get a little out of hand on a Friday.
It's also a payday Friday.
I asked the boss, I said,
frisky.
Are you telling me to go have fun out there today? And he said, no, I'm not asking you to go out and have fun out there today, but we're going to have a ton of fun. Also, here's what's coming up at 10:30. I got a question that's it's just going to provoke 49er fans, positively probably.
Yeah.
How about that?
Okay.
Also, and I told you about this yesterday, I've got a little bit of an ethical dilemma.
You're going to have to remind me.
That I'm dealing with.
Don't remember.
I'll do it yesterday. At the break.
Okay.
I have a little ethical dilemma that I'd like some help on, unrelated to sports. And the good people of the Bay are hopefully going to help me do the right thing, because I always like to do the right thing. Jordan Poole in town. I mean, got to get a standing O. He's got to. It doesn't have to be extended. Give him a standing ovation. Like, my guy Joe Hawks, KCBS, said, what do you think, Steiny? What would you do? I'm like, what do you mean, what would I do? He's a champion. End of story. Jordan Poole's a champion. He won a ring with the Warriors. He ain't Nick Young. I mean, there's a guy who should get booed.
He's not Omri Caspi.
I mean, you want to boo somebody? Wait till the Sixers come in here with Kelly Oubre. Don't boo Jordan Poole.
You can't boo him. You can't. And he deserves nothing but applause.
Thank you.
Before the game. Now, during the game, you can do whatever you want. He's on the other team. That's fine. But I guarantee you the Warriors will have, I don't know if it's a video or they'll set aside a moment during the pregame introductions. Whoever does the intros over the PA is probably going to do something nice and reintroduce, Golden State Warriors champion Jordan Poole. And it's really it's tough because obviously of the way that he exited, but Jordan Poole is one of the best success stories in the Bob Myers era. Like, he was the 28th overall pick, I think, and was a guy that was sent back to the G League his second or third season. We didn't know if he could play during the pandemic year, just kind of got to mess around like a lot of those players did on that terrible team. And we didn't know if he was going to be a guy. And then he kind of shot out of a cannon. Like, I just think people forget how quickly Jordan Poole climbed the ranks, not just of being a fan favorite until what happened last year, but also just how good he was and how quickly that sort of blossomed for him. And I think there's going to be more of that reflection tonight than, I don't know, whatever happened the last 365 days.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where Jordan Poole deserves a standing ovation because he was on a championship team. The one thing also about Poole that I want to talk about just a little bit, and it's this. And I'm not saying the Warriors organization did this, but this is one of the things that it annoys me a little bit. So Jordan Poole gets drafted 27th or 28th or whatever he was, and he stunk, remember? He was very bad. And then then COVID came. He went to G League, COVID came, and then they opened the facility. And remember how the Warriors made a point to say that nobody had been working harder than Jordan Poole. Nobody had been in the facility more than Jordan Poole. How do you know that? We know that because his security card is being used every day, 12 hours a day he's in here. And then we see his game the following year, and we're thinking, my God, did this guy get better? So at that point, you have to believe that he did work hard. It wasn't just a narrative the team was coming up with because there were results. And I just can't stand when then after a guy leaves a city or a region, you totally forget about that kind of thing. You talk about, well, he got too big for his britches, and, well, he got too cocky. Well, okay, that's fair, but let's also make sure that we all acknowledge that this guy worked harder than anybody 3, 4, 5 years ago to get the contract to help the Warriors win a title. Like, don't tell me for 2 years that nobody's worked harder than Jordan Poole, but then the day he gets kicked out the door, the day he's no longer a Warrior, now he's a liability, he's a cancer, he was the problem. That's That's one of the just something that I don't like at all, Evan. Give me both sides.
No, yeah, look, I'm 100% with you, and I think, look, I mean, you just take a look at, he was the definition of a third-year leap. Like, that was the guy
Exactly.
that stepped in when Klay Thompson was out for the first, 50 games of the year they won the championship. He was starting. He went back to the bench. If you do remember, he was also good when he came off the bench. He was still efficient that season, and he was incredible to begin that playoff run. And Stephen Curry, he came off the bench, right? Game 1 on the way back against Denver?
Yeah, exactly.
Jordan Poole was the man. He scored like 29, 30, and 28 his first 3 playoff games. Looked like he was going to be the prince of the ball. And it just really sucked to me kind of what went down last year. But even then, he played all 82 games. His attitude might not have been the best, but he still played hard, even if you didn't like the way that he played. I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, this guy is a major piece of a championship team and arguably the most important championship to the big three as far as affirming what they'd done and then getting back on top. Like, I'd never seen at the parade, and we've been lucky enough to witness 4 of them now. I hadn't seen the kind of elation and, I don't know, just walking down Market Street, Klay in the crowd with the trophy, Draymond, Stephen Curry, the big three, the core, Andre Iguodala even to some extent, but the core was just so unbelievably happy that they proved everyone wrong, and Jordan Poole was a major piece of that story, and I just don't think it can be understated.
No, I agree. All right, 888-957-9570 is the number. You want to jump in, and, one of the other things I was telling the boss I might give our listeners an opportunity to do is thank us for what we do for you every day from 10 to 2, Monday to Friday. So if you feel like calling me up and giving me a compliment or thanking me or Evan for our service to you, because you're really what it's all about, and we do it all for you. You feel free to do that. Also, I'm kidding. I also got to thank my loyal P1. Our loyal P1. I got a couple gifts in the mail today. The person does not tell me their name, just that they listen every day. And the person, I don't know if it's a man or woman, they got me. Anybody who knows me knows I like these. I'm holding it up to the camera right now.
You're a walking version of that.
Dad jokes. Our loyal P1 gave me a dad jokes book. Also got me some Snyder pretzels from Pennsylvania. And then some of these Oreos that are dipped in like vanilla, white chocolate.
Dangerous.
Very, very, very dangerous.